to Joel. Shout out to Joel. I see you in the chat. Good night, my brother. Good night. So check this out, everybody. We're going to go into a live stream. It won't be long. We're going to try to keep it short. I just did a channel member stream maybe about 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. But I wanted to come back and double back and do a live stream for everybody so that we can discuss some of the news that's going on, okay? It would have been longer. You know, when you're dealing with people out in the streets and when you're dealing with people, sometimes they get your blood boiled. And that's what happened to me not too long ago. Listen, man, I tell you, dealing with people will make you be other than yourself. You know what I mean? Luckily, I'm a little bit more civilized than that, but I almost had to put hands on somebody. They almost thought I was Jesus because I almost had to put hands on somebody. And that's real. It's hard to be a sane, civilized person in a world full of insane savages. It's hard. And this is what I'm saying. Society, American society, has degraded and declined to such that you're on the level of the beasts of the field, you know, and you have to protect yourself. You have to prepare yourself for as much. You know what I mean? Hold on one second. All right. I'm sorry. I had to give some thank you to somebody that was doing something for me. Okay. And I didn't want to be rude. I'm not trying to be rude. But anyway, the name of the show today is called Live, the news as it is. Now we gotta address a few things that's going on. Now, while the thing is going on in Palestine, we see that there was a report of a Ukrainian drone strike which killed 2 people in Russia's border region. Now, you know what that is? That is tantamount to a declaration of war. You know that, right? Now, if Russia were to use everything at its disposal, and it would be justified to do this, because let me tell you something. That was a shot across the bow to Russia from the United States and Israel, due to the fact of what was going on in Palestine and what Russia said, that Russia understood the Palestinian issues. It comes as no coincidence and no surprise that hours after Russia acknowledged the legitimate rights of Palestine, that there was a drone strike on the border region with Ukraine. Who supplies Ukraine with drones? Who supplies Ukraine with logistics? Who supplies Ukraine with mercenaries? So for that to happen was a direct assault on the Russian Federation by NATO and Israel. And what this is get back. And I'm going to tell you what this is get back from. From the embarrassment that the West has just suffered. And I'm not just talking about the Hamas operation. I'm talking about what was used in the Hamas operation. Some sources are saying that those weapons, those NATO and U.S. weapons that were sent to Ukraine to harm and damage the Russian Federation, some of them were captured and sent back through back channels and made it to Hamas. And these are some of the weapons that were used and they were instrumental in Hamas offensive against the occupiers of occupied Palestine. So within hours, roughly a day or so, we have a drone strike on the border region by the very people who instigated the war in Palestine, who instigated the war in Syria, who instigated the war in Iraq, who instigated the war in Afghanistan, who is trying to push for war in Iran, and who has instigated war in Ukraine. I keep telling you, we look for common denominators. When you see a common denominator, it lights up and tells you what to look for, what to be aware of whenever you see this common denominator. Wherever America, wherever Israel, wherever NATO pops up, there's death, destruction, war, disillusionment, color revolutions, government overthrows, sanctions, right? Poverty. All of that stuff follows. That was one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. So whatsoever they went, death followed. You can't deny it. It is absolutely sound and rational judgment and truth. All right. Now, and I'm just looking at this, but we got to address a few things. All right. Let me look at some news real quick. And look at what Russia has said. And look what I got to read this. Oh, also, let me tell you, that's another reason why, before I go further, it's something else on my mind. I'm glad I saw a flag wave here, and it brought something to mind. Iraq is pushing for the exclusion of dollar payments in transactions. On top of that, we are, hold on. Hey, Rashid. Hey there, Rashid. Great to see you live at 1 p.m. Thursday, October 12th. Locked in for an hour. So thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all for joining me. Look, there were other nations that were trying to get to Russia and get to, they sent ambassadors there. Most people talked about the trip from the Iraqi people, but what you didn't know is that there were meetings between Russian officials in other nations and Chinese officials in other nations on how to do backdoor trade outside of the dollar. This has been happening while everybody is focused on the war for liberation in occupied Palestine. I want to bring something to mind to you all. It's something that I talked about on the channel member stream just about 15, 20 minutes ago. I'm going to bring something up to you, okay? Because I have to do this to you, and I have to show you, right? Because when it is shown, it means so much more. So I'm going to put something up on the screen for you. You guys bear with me, okay? Let's see. There we are. Let's see if we can bring this up. And it should pop up on the screen. All right. Let's see if we can get it. There we are. Now we're here. Let's see. There we are. It's on the screen. Now I want you to look at that. Why did I put this up here from X or Twitter? You know, the narrative, the Western narrative, is that Hamas is beheading children. Hamas is killing civilians. Hamas is raping. Hamas is savage. The Palestinians are savage. Or as the German, the U.S., and the Israeli officials said, that they are animals in human form. This is what they said. All right? This is what they said. So we have that narrative. And we have all of the Western pundits, all of the Western newspapers, and all of the Western leaders pro-Israeli, and they're talking about putting out stories that Hamas and the Palestinians did X, Y, and Z. So I pulled this up because I want you to see something, to show you that there's no freedom of speech, no freedom of expression, no freedom of thought in the so-called land of diversity. The so-called Western world always trumpeting and always proclaiming that they are the beacon of light for diversity, and yet they stymie, stall, and censor diverse opinion and diverse thought. Think about that. Make that make sense. So, with that said, this right here on your screen was something major. I'm going to read this for you, okay? Because the video was taken down. As you see, as I scroll up, it says this video has been deleted. There's a reason it's been deleted, and I'm going to give it to you. So Mohammed Shihada posted this video of the Israelis killing Palestinians, right? Killing them. And then getting in there, I guess, Toyota trucks and running them over back and back, running them over back and back, running them over back and back, all while making jokes and laughing about it. And yet not one mainstream Western pundit spoke about it. Not one mainstream Western official talked about it. Not one mainstream news organization was outraged about it. Yet they're outraged about an event that never took place, about some 40 children that were beheaded. And then it came out that these were just lies and innuendo. So it's all right to have a narrative full of lies. But when somebody puts up facts and puts up something that contradicts the narrative that is being spoon-fed to the people, it becomes hate speech and must be removed. Why? Because it gets in the way of their lies. Truth will always get in the way of a lie. So on this by Muhammad Shahada, he wrote, Israelis are literally driving back and forth over a dead, mutilated, and naked Palestinian body while laughing hysterically. Zero media coverage, zero condemnation, zero accountability. Savages, animals, barbarians are words used against us. But not one word in the media about that. Do you see? This stuff right here is beyond fascist. This stuff is, this shows you that the West is losing its grip. Whenever you feel so threatened that you have to stymie diverse opinion, diverse thoughts, diverse schools of thoughts, then you feel threatened and you feel that your narrative is not getting through. So I want to get to something. I see Rashid in the booth. I'll bring him in a minute, but I have to finish my thought because as I said at the beginning, we will not be on this live very long because I have some stuff that I have to take care of. All right. So listen, I'm going to stop this and take this down real quick. Remove, stop screen. And now I'm going to bring something up. Before I bring Rashid in, I'm going to bring something up. I'm going to show you just how mad these people have gone. Okay? I'm going to bring this up. So, boom. Here we are. I want you to look. Center screen. Center screen. All right, you see this? Now I'm going to scroll up to let you know the headline of this. Boom. Do you see that? UK may arrest people for waving Palestinian flags. Now it has become outrageous. It's becoming outrageous. You get listen, as I brought this point home on the member stream that we just did about 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. So you can question the legitimacy of God. You can question the legitimacy of Jesus and Muhammad and Abraham and Ishmael and all of the prophets of God. You can question religion. You can question your beings and your makeup, but you can't question a Western narrative. And yet they call themselves the land of the free. The Western world is supposed to be the beacon of light, the beacon of hope. The bowl of diverse conversation, diverse expression, diverse thought. But it goes from the mundane to the absolutely insane on this article. We'll read it, a little bit of it, okay? UK may arrest people for waving Palestinian flags. Chants, listen to this good. Chants and symbols could be grounds for criminal charges. The government, I know, I see you in there. I see you, Rashid. I see you. I had to finish my thought. Thank you. I see you. I let the people know that you're in the booth. Hold on one second. Let me finish my thought. Chants and symbols could also be grounds for criminal charges, the government told police. So if you chant pro-Palestinian chants, or if you have pro-Palestinian or anti-occupation symbols, you can go to jail or be charged as a criminal. Where is the freedom of expression that the Western world has trumpeted over the last 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and how they've tried to fashion and mold the entire world into this LBGT or whatever it's called world, this so-called neutral, gender neutral world? Where's all that when it comes to freedom of expression and freedom of thought? Now, if you're gay, you can express yourself. If you don't know what you are, you can express yourself. But if you have strong religious or ethical or moral convictions, it is criminal to express yourself. Man, this is crazy as hell. Let's go a little further. Rashid, I'll bring you in a minute, but I got to finish this thought because you came in the booth right when I was getting to this thought. And I'll let you give us your thought and your take on this. Let's go further. All right. And because I'm only able to look at one window at a time. All right. CC is in the building. Salute to CC. Hadn't seen you in a minute, CC. It says police in England and Wales should treat Palestinian flags, chants, and other symbols displayed in certain contexts as hate speech. I didn't make that up. That's right there. As hate speech. You see it on your screen. Home Secretary Suella Braverman said in a letter of instruction sent on Tuesday. See, what she's trying to do now is control the narrative. So she sent out instructions to the police force because she's the Home Secretary. So she sent it to the National Police so that they can disseminate it to each branch of the police force so that they can enforce what she said. I want you to understand this. It goes further and says this. It is not just explicit pro-Hamas symbols and chants that are cause for concern, Braverman wrote in the letter. I would encourage police to consider whether chants such as from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, should be understood as an expression of a violent desire to see Israel erased from the world. Man, I'm telling you, if that's not reaching. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. What is terrorist about that? If Palestine is occupied from the river to the sea, don't they have the right, the God-given right to chant that, to say that from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free? How is that terrorist against Israel? Unless in the back of your brain you know that there's an occupation taking place. And you see the longing of the people as a threat to your narrative, and you see the longing of the people in their chant as a threat to your occupation and to your perspective. That is the only way that you can rationalize these type of Nazi fascist laws and instructions. That's the only way. Let me bring Rashid in and I'll get his perspective on it. And while I get his perspective on it and he's talking, I'll be in the chat with you guys. So, Rashid, go ahead. How's it going, man? You hear me? Rashid. I guess he can't hear me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
What is your perspective on what I was saying?
Yes, sir, I do. Well, it's been a while. You see, I'm back on the computer. I'm not cut down in half.
Yeah. What is your perspective? What is your perspective on what you just heard me talking about with these outrageous laws being put in place by the West, where it is terrorist now and criminal to express support for Palestine or express support for anyone that is longing to be free against their oppressors?
Isn't this the same deal laws in Europe that if you say that anything against jail, well, isn't that right up their alley? These people don't care nothing about laws. The only thing they care about is what they feel that satisfies them. Mm-hmm. Isn't that what they do? Mm-hmm. You can't get upset with a man that feels that way. You can't get upset with a man that feels that his way is right and everybody else's way is wrong. Mm-hmm. As I said before on this forum many times, if I want to say New York, and I took over New York State, right? And
he froze. We'll get him back in the studio. He went off there. We'll get him. What in the world? Hopefully he'll come back in through the booth. Okay. He froze, but we'll get him back in shortly. So hopefully Rashid will be back in. But we'll keep going. So let me read a few of these. Is their narrative or nothing at all true? Cece says, hello, I'm surprised Turkey hasn't condemned that video, given it's in NATO and not on one accord with NATO stance towards the Palestinian people. Well, my thing is this, Cece, let's look at this for real. Let's look at it from a broader perspective. Turkey is the second most powerful military force in NATO, right? It's the second largest and the second most powerful military force behind the United States, right? If Turkey really wanted to put pressure on the United States and put pressure on Israel, Turkey could send warships to the coast of Gaza to break the blockade, and Turkey could send people into Gaza to bring in humanitarian aid. And America says that NATO has a Article 5. So if Israel bombed Turkey warships, or Israel bombed areas where Turkey was giving out aid, then Turkey could invoke Article 5. But check this out. This would even, like they say on the streets, it would make the United States and NATO pee or get off the potty. Either you're going to have to honor Article 5, even against Israel, or Article 5 ain't worth the paper that it's printed on, and I'm going with the East. And then I'm going to retaliate, massively retaliate, to show that I'm not no punk. This is what I'm saying. So Turkey is in a position right now, because look at this. It has no problems going into Syria, bombing in Syria. Syria is a Muslim nation. It has no qualms going into northern Iraq, bombing northern Iraq. It has no qualms helping Azerbaijan against Armenia. So why would it have any qualms or any problems deploying warships to the coast of Gaza? Because remember, according to UN mandate and UN resolutions, that Palestine is a territory and a nation unto itself, meaning the territorial waters are actually Palestinian waters. So an attack on a Turkish ship in Palestinian waters is a declaration of war against Turkey and NATO, and it would force America to show her hands. It would force NATO to show their hands if they really are going to back Turkey, or was just doing all this lip service. And then Turkey will have its understanding of where to stand at from that point on. Okay, I see Rashid keep coming in the booth, but he's not being shown. They are messing with this guy. They're messing with Rashid. They're only showing his name. They're not showing his face. Anyway, Flying Crocodile 46, and I'm telling you, it's showing Rashid's name in my booth, but it's not showing his face. So maybe it's going to take a minute for his face to pop up, because I see his name in the booth. But Flying Crocodile said, and he's gone again. They knocked him out the booth again. Anyway, I believe that Lebanon, Syria, Egypt, Iraq, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey will likely attack Israel if they don't stop the genocidal attack on their prison captives and free them. Well, listen, I have been telling you this for the longest. I want you to understand what I'm saying. We are looking at the beginning of something major. I was saying this for what, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, while the world is preoccupied with the Ukrainian event, that everything that I was hearing was telling me that something major was going to happen in the Middle East, and this will escalate, and it may eventually flare up into a regional war. I have been saying that for months. And maybe this is the ember that has been blown by the winds of war, and it is about to go into a 5-alarm fire or something like that. Maybe that's what it is. Serious Biz. Serious Biz says, I finally came across that Biden speech from 1986 where he said, yeah, I played it on the show, where he said if Israel wasn't a real place, he'd create one just to keep the Middle East in check. He said it was worth $3 billion a year back then. Right. But they did create Israel. Matter of fact, the Balfour, I can't pronounce it, the Balfour Declaration. In 1917 is when they started discussing the creation of the state of Israel and all of this stuff. Listen, all of these problems that are going on right now, you see the Western press, they don't want you to understand that it was France, especially and specifically the UK and the US, that caused these problems by transporting an entire people from the Caucasus and from Europe and imposing them on people in the Middle East. That's the crux of it. That's what it is. They took them and they used this because they needed a launching pad, a foot pad, to dominate the Middle East, because this is where they understood the petrol would be coming from. And they wanted to control the waterways, the land routes, and the air routes. And they have a plan. Israel has an open plan. Go look it up. To balkanize the Arab countries and become greater Israel at the expense of the Arab countries. That's why America keeps them the terrorists flowing. Notice this. I want you to understand something, because most people don't pay attention to this, and this will get you attention. You'll say, you know what? I never thought of that. You're absolutely right about this. Let's look at Al-Qaeda. Let's look at Boko Haram. Let's look at ISIS. Let's look at Tariq al-Sham, whatever. They just make up names. Let's look at what they call Islamic terror units. Okay, let's look at all this. In every video, in every conflict, you'll hear them screaming Allahu Akbar, right? You'll hear them screaming that, right? And they'll be Islam and Islam and Islam, Islam, right? You hear them say that. So the West thinks, hey, these are Islamic terrorists. These are Muslims, and all they want to do is fight in war. And have you ever noticed that these so-called Islamic terrorists, the only nations they are attacked are Muslim countries? Do you notice that? The only nations that they attack are Islamic countries. Now, while the war in Syria was going on with ISIS, while the war in Iraq was going on with ISIS didn't lob one grenade, one missile, shoot one bullet into occupied Palestine at Israel. Not one. As a matter of fact, there were videos of Benjamin Netanyahu and others visiting wounded ISIS troops in Israeli hospitals. How is that? Through chaos comes order. If I create chaos, then I can institute my order on the region, and I can dominate and rule. That's what they do. So for optics, they put on bed sheets, or whatever you want to call them. That's what the West say, bed sheets. They put on this, and then they put on their sandals, and they say Allahu Akbar. That's for, aesthetics. That's for the ignorant masses of the West. And in reality, these are stooges and agents of the West trying to use Islam and Muslims as a cover. Because remember, who was Osama bin Laden's handler? Zbigniew Brzezinski. Who was the creator of Al-Qaeda? Zbigniew Brzezinski. Who was the creator of the Taliban? Zbigniew Brzezinski. So we say that ISIS is an offshoot of Al-Qaeda. Well, who created it? Zbigniew Brzezinski. Boko Haram is an offshoot of ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Who created Al-Qaeda? Zbigniew Brzezinski, the national security advisor of Jimmy Carter and the mentor of Obama. There is no coincidence here. I'm telling you this. Oh, man, I'm telling you. Let's go a little bit further. Rashid keeps coming in the thing, and he keeps knocking him off. Look, what is this? This thing is tripping. It's not even giving me a time up here. Okay, the clock just popped up here. Okay, we're going to try to do this a little bit longer, then I'm going to have to jump off. Let's see. Flying Crocodile 46 says, let me put it up here. I have watched interviews of two old Israeli soldiers smiling and laughing as they fondly remember the caging and burning of Palestinian children, yet to see any evidence of Hamas killing any babies. Yet to see that, all right? But if the Israelis or the West says, then it's the gospel then, all right? You can have video and audio proof of what you're talking about, but it gets censored on Twitter. Now, remember, I want you to understand something. They took that video down off X. Remember, Elon Musk was doing all of this protesting against the previous owners of Twitter about their censorship and all of this stuff, and how when he bought Twitter, it would change and you wouldn't be censored. Why did they censor that? Why did they take that video down then? Huh? Why? Rashid, I keep seeing your name in the booth, but it's not showing me your face. It's not showing me your face, so I can't bring you on with just the banner of you. I gotta wait till your face pops up. I don't know what StreamYard is doing. I don't know what YouTube is doing. Hopefully he'll keep trying to get in, and then finally we'll be able to break the cycle and bring him up, because I want his opinion on some of this stuff also. But let's see. Let's go down a little bit. I have that clip ready if you're interested. Oh, I played it yesterday. I played the clip yesterday. The one that you're talking about, Serious Biz, I played it yesterday on the show. Or day before yesterday on the show, one of the two. Yes, and I have it right here, I believe, on my dash. But thank you. See, I told you my chat is awesome, man. And I'm telling you, my chat is awesome. Let's see. Joel says, the freedom loving West hypocrites. Absolutely. Let's see. It says Turkey is. Let's see what Rashid just sent me a message. He said, No. I know that. Keep trying, Rashid. Keep trying, man. I gotta bring you on before I go off this air, man. Keep trying. He says it look like they're not going to let him back on the show. I told you they keep blocking him, and his screen keeps, his name pops up with no face. Keep trying, because I want to give you at least 5 minutes on the show, man. At least before I get off the air. Keep trying to get in. I know what they're doing. I know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to frustrate you. Let's see. Colin Green on X. Yeah, I know who you are, Flying Cracker. I know who it is. I know it. I realized who you were a while ago. Okay, but thank you. Let's see. Let's see. Some more stuff. I don't want to put anybody conversation up here. Let's see. Serious Business, a great point. Maddie says back again. Maddie was just in the channel member only chat stream. He was just in. Maddie was just in there. So Maddie says back again. Yeah. So let's see. Flying Crocodile says X is still a hell of a lot better than it was. Yeah, but I was making a point. I was saying that with all of that uproar from Elon Musk, then when his foot is to the fire, he catches out against the Palestinians in a time where truth has been crushed and the narrative has been monopolized. He should have stood up stronger and allowed that to happen, to give a different narrative of what's going on. But that shows his character, though. All right. Let's see. It's some more. I'm passing up. It's a lot of stuff. Mehdi says, "Yup." So let's go into the news real quick before we get off the air. Let's read this again. It is not just explicit pro-Hamas symbols and chants that are cause for concern, Braverman wrote in the letter. I would encourage police to consider whether chants such as "from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free" should be understood as an expression. That, man, if this is not a stretch beyond a stretch, listen to what it said. Should be understood as an expression of a violent desire to see Israel erased from the world, and whether its use in certain contexts may amount to a racially aggravated Section 5 public order offense. That's in the UK. That is crazy, right? That is absolutely insane. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. It's being taken as the extermination of Israel. Well, are they oppressed from the river to the sea? Yes. What are they yearning for? For Palestine to be free. So how could you even take that as the eradication of Israel? Why don't you look at it from a different perspective and say, hey, maybe if they weren't oppressed from the river to the sea and they were allowed to be free, we wouldn't be in this position that we're in right now, telling lies over lies over lies to cover the last lie, to cover the last lie, to cover the last lie. See, when you lie, you have to keep lying to cover up the lie before that. And eventually you start forgetting the lies that you told, or you forget the way you told them. And we're seeing that in the media right now, in the Western media. And when you lose the advantage, remember that the Western media for so long had the advantage. They had the monopoly on information and dissemination of information. So it was hard for Russia or China or Iran or Palestine or Black America or Brown America or poor white people or anybody to get their message across. It was hard because everything was run like this. But now there are so many outlets to try to get something out that it is threatening the power structure and their hold over information, which is critical when you want to rule. So now they're reverting to what they condemned others to doing, or censoring, giving out one perspective, fascism, totalitarian. They're being totalitarian and all of this stuff. Excuse me. I just got a message. I see Rashid. Rashid, move your hand in your head. I see your head, and I see the he's frozen. Come on. They froze this brother. Stand still. Move your head a little bit, and when I see your head is finally moved, I'll bring you on the screen. They are tripping today. Serious Biz says facts. Now Joel says if people only knew the truth that those people are not the biblical Israelites, they are Khazar who converted. Right. See this. You got to hold a narrative. When the narrative is no longer holding and all of the levels of power are no longer dominant and no longer supreme, and you see cracks and fissures in the dam of information warfare. Oh, I see Rashid. I'll bring him in. When you see that, the people who have ruled absolutely become frantic. And so, yeah, they're doing Rashid dirty. I got to put this on the screen. Serious. They're doing it, brother. Hold on one second. Hey, Rashid, this is one of our viewers saying they're doing you dirty. So he said he can't hear anything right now. So anyway, I'll bring him on the screen in just a second. Now, as those cracks grow and grow and grow, what looked like a mighty dam at one time, right, that held back massive amounts of water. Once those fissures come in and you see water starting to seep out, before you know it, it turns into cracks. And before you know it, the entire structure is in danger of collapsing. That's what we're watching with the narrative of these are the chosen people. That's what we're watching with the narrative of Western exceptionalism and Western freedom and the freedom of expression and the freedom of speech. You know, we're watching the dam collapse. And the people who are over all of this, they are becoming frantic and they're starting to panic because they no longer can hold the line because the onslaught of truth is removing every obstacle in his way. Now let's see. I'm going to bring Rashid in. I see his head. I see his head moving, so I'm going to bring him in after I bring up this comment. Let's see. Joe Flying Crocodile says, Joel Bradford, fact, nailed that not many know. Also, that there are many Palestinians who are Semite. Well, yeah. Let's see. 100. Let's see. Let me bring Rashid in because we know that these people who are calling Jews. Rashid, are you there? Are you there? They froze him again.
You hear about them? What about Raul Planet?
Can at
They froze him again. Oh, I don't know what happened. I don't know. They froze him again. I'm telling you, they are tripping with Rashid. But you guys get to see this live. This is what he and I talk about. How they are so preoccupied with this platform. How they're so preoccupied and they try to prevent everything from going smooth. I want to ask you guys this. Do you see this going on with the bigger channels? Do you see that? So if this is not going on with the bigger channels, right? You have to ask yourself, why is it going on with this channel? What is this channel bringing to bear that the bigger channels are not? And if they see them as a threat, then why aren't they doing to them what they are doing to us? Okay? Look at this. Medi says, nope. Let me put it up there. Serious Business says, nope. Joel says, truth. Medi says, we're bringing facts. Medi says, common sense, logic. And then Serious Business says that, let's see, absolutely. It was something that I passed over. Because I know somebody said Rashid was talking. Yeah, he was talking, and they cut him off. They cut him off in the middle of him talking. Man, I'm telling you. So again, that should tell you something right there. And always remember, I was looking at it, and I have to bring this up too. So I was looking at one of the major shows today, right? Earlier this morning. Walaikum salam. Naeem. Shout out to Naeem 88. Naeem 88. Shout out. Look, I was looking at a show earlier today. Oh, Medi says, oh, wow, I have never heard StreamYard do that. And they do it on a daily basis on this show. Sometimes they kick me out of my own interviews. And I have to rush back in to try to get on. They've done that on multiple occasions with me. But I was listening to, and see, we'll do 9 more minutes, okay? And then I have to handle some business. I'll try to stretch it. Listen, look, Flying Crocodile and Serious Business says they're doing Rashid dirty. They said, yeah, they are. But as long as you guys see it and as long as you guys know it, that's what counts. Now, I won't name the name. I won't name drop. So I'll just clap because they finally are doing something. So I was listening to this mainstream. It has almost 200,000 subscribers, if not 200,000 subscribers. And I noticed the first part of they were interviewing somebody or had a co-host on, which is not a normal co-host, in the first 5 to 10 minutes of what they were talking about for a change was what we talked about 2 shows ago. So pressure, I believe you getting in their comment sections, putting pressure on them, is forcing them to acknowledge some of this stuff. It's forcing them. I said, because this is what we just talked about. This is what we were getting on all of the mainstream channels for not mentioning. So again, I see Rashid in there. So I'm going to put Rashid in here before they cut before they kick him back out the studio again. Rashid. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, well, they still won't let me on the computer. So. I figured, what can I say? They don't
my God. Hey, the chat was saying they doing Rashid so dirty.
This is what happens in America. In the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Yeah.
So what can I say about that?
Hey, Joel says they're going to take down this video citing you for violating their fake guidelines. Yeah.
What can I say?
Yeah, that probably would be one. But notice when we give truth, we violate something. But these channels, they just make up anything and say anything, and they're not in violation of anything. They're not accused of misleading anybody, even though they know that they're lying or they know that they're beating around the bush or something. But it's okay. But Rashid, I want to go back to something. We see what is going on in Palestine. We see, and you and I know that this is just the beginning of the outbreak of hostilities, because you can't continue to suppress people. You can't continue to do wrong by somebody if this is a universe of righteousness and God is a right God and God laid that at the very core of creation. Then wrong can't exist. Wrong can't continue in perpetuity. So if you have a people completely occupying the territory of another, and the Western world they're quiet about it, they don't say anything about it, and then they try to justify it and then make the victim be the aggressor and the aggressor be the victim. Where do you think this is leading that region?
It's going into total war. That's what that is. Well, first of all, how did the West get their territory? They did this. Netanyahu and all the rest of them saying that we just did what y'all doing.
Yep.
You know, we talking about settler colonium. All of them got their lands outside of Europe by murder, rape, and stealing people's land. It's nothing. You know, it's their fathers did it, and they doing it. So they ain't gonna change. 500 years ago, they came over here and stole America, right? So the son is doing what the father doing, and it's the same thing. The other countries over there in the Middle East got me to wonder, if you sit back and allow them to do that to Palestinians, what's to stop them from taking your land like that?
Yeah. Now, since we're on this, I want to also show something, Rashid. While you were talking, I'm pulling up something. Okay, give me a second while I'm talking. I want to pull up another video for the people and bring it up on the screen. So give me a second. Just bear with me. Okay, here we are right here. Give me a second. I'm working slow on one computer, you guys. So please forgive me. Also, let's see. Here we are. Stop the screen. No, I don't want to stop the screen. I want to add something. Oh. Hold on one second. Let me take this off the screen. Stop the screen. Present. Stop the screen. All right, we got that out of the way. Okay. Now let me add something for you guys on the screen. Here we are. Something should be coming up on the screen right now. You see this video right here? All right. The headline is from Angelo Giuliano, and it says breaking reports that Hamas wasn't targeting civilians at the music festival. The IDF were shooting at Hamas from the crowds of civilians. Civilians were caught in the crossfire, and here's the video of IDF forces within the crowds shooting at Hamas. And that's why Hamas was firing through the crowd, because they were being fired upon by IDF. But that didn't get put on the on the news, and that's not a talking point of the Western world, right? And Mr. Kirby is not crying about that, right? He cried about something else, but he's not crying about that. What say you about this, Rashid?
All for the course, man. These people lie, cheat, and steal. So if you lie, cheat, and steal, you commit murder, right? Mm-hmm. So the same thing, you know. They're doing their same old modus of operandi. You can't trust anything they got to say. If he told you that in his world, up is down and down is up, would you always say bizarro world?
Yeah, bizarro world.
That's exactly what they like doing. You know, as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by getting cut off.
Okay, now say I'm in New York, right?
Right. Go
And a
ahead.
group of Russians came over and took over New York and took up all of the houses that we had and wherever and pushed everybody into their backyard. And every time you moved in the backyard, they shoot a missile at you. How would we're for fairness? I don't care who it is. Truth is truth, right?
That's right.
They stole those people's land. Oh, well, the UN is the one that did it. Well, who was the UN? You, England, France, and America. And when everybody else was so weak, they couldn't do anything about it. But this time, I think it's a little bit different because the other people are not weak no more. Even Hamas has shown a strategic and military strength that they didn't have before, and they right now they're not weak anymore. You can't push a strong man around like they was doing with the what's his name, Yasser Arafat. Now that cat was real weak. They beat him up every week and twice on Sunday. So him and his little bitty what do they call that paid off puppets. What these other people are not paid off and they ain't puppets. And it looks like that's one thing you can't do with an assassin. You can't stop it. If he's willing to give his life to take a life, you can't stop that. And
Right.
this is what they've been getting pushed around for 70 years. Don't you think that this is their children now? They just tired and they don't want to take it no more.
Right.
And if you want to come down and kill all of us, then so be it. But we refuse to stand, live on our knees anymore, and that's what's taking place. And if you, and like I said, and if you too so tough, let's see what you're gonna do when Hezbollah get into the fight.
Yeah. And now let me address some here. Flying Crocodile, Colin. Check this out. You said it may have been the concert security guards that were shooting at Hamas. Remember this now. Say for let's just say that was it. But remember that all of them are conscripts and to the IDF. All of them by law can be called up for war. So all of them have to go through military training, and all of them have to serve in the IDF regardless. Even if it was security guards, they were firing. And so if I'm firing at you, whether I'm firing at you behind a garbage can or if I'm firing at you through a crowd of people and your life is at stake, what are you going to do? You're going to return fire, right? Yeah. You're going to return fire. So, but the Western media didn't pick that up. Now, let me put this up here. Naeem says, wow, and I know you're being facetious with these. No, sir, the Jews are innocent and are being attacked by Hamas. If you let the American news outlets tell the story, it is 7:42 my time here. The news will tell me it's 1 a.m. and I'm supposed to believe it.
That's right.
You know, that's what they'll tell you. And they'll say it, and they'll say it so many times that you'll have people arguing with you. So, oh man, your watch is wrong. This 1 a.m. And they'll be ready to fight you over that.
I think Hitler's media mouthpiece, Goebbels, said, the bigger the lie, and keep saying it over and over, they'll believe it.
Yeah.
And that's the motto they take. No matter what I say, it's it. And everybody got to believe it, but it's a lie. I don't care. I said it on television, and you got to believe it. You see, most of the people will go along with what they call sheeple. Most of them will go along with their lie. It's a very few that will sit back and say, "Wait a minute, that don't sound right," and question them on their beliefs.
Mehdi says, I was pro-Israel forever until the Ukraine. Then I had to rethink what I thought I knew about the conflict. I am no longer pro-Israel and learning the true plight of the Palestinian people. See, and one thing about it is when you acknowledge that, that right there is a turning point in anybody's life. Now let's go to the next one. Flying Crocodile Colin says, and he's answering me, so he says, true enough, it was a dumb move that put innocents in harm's way. Yeah, that's the point I was making. And it says, Naeem 88 says, to be a citizenry of Israel, you must partake in the IDF army. That's right. You have to. I think, what is it, a 2-year service or something like that? 1 or 2 year service.
Yes,
And then you
yes.
must, and then you can be called up anytime. So in reality, whether they were security guards or whatever, they're not the security guards that you go to the mall with. These are armed security guards who know how to fire, who knows warfare tactics, who know that. So when we say IDF, in reality, that's what it is. Let's see. Medi says, people like us here are hard to BS. The more they lie, the harder we dig for the truth. And that's what I'm talking about. That's why we started this platform. That's why I wanted a vehicle to talk to the people, because there's so many people out there that are fleecing the people. And of course, I chose my buddy, my partner, who we agree on 99.9% of the things, 99.9% on almost everything. And so we bring the truth to you regardless. And let's see what it says. Yep, 2 years mandatory. That's what Sirius Biz said. Yep, it's 2 years mandatory.
Listen to the American media all through the history. The native Indians here were the bad guys, and they were the good guys stealing their land and killing them all. Look at the massacre of Custer. Well, Custer was over there killing the people up.
All right.
But like you said, that's the way he thinks. It's all right for him to do his evil, and then when you call him on it, you are the bad guy for telling him, "Hey, man, that's evil."
Yeah. Cece says, IDF has trained police here in the United States. Yeah, they have, and not only that, they've trained people in Ukraine. Matter of fact, the IDF was one of the biggest proponents of apartheid in South Africa. They actually worked with the South African government during apartheid to acquire the nuclear bomb. Most people don't know that.
And also, every puppet that you got, despot that they call over there doing in the Middle East and a lot of work around the world, they behind all of it.
Yeah. Medi, you both bring the truth. That's why I'm here. I'm glad that. Yeah. Let's see. Now listen. Everybody, I hate to cut the stream short. And you can support by sharing the video, hitting the like button, all of that stuff. Do that. If you like to donate, you can hit the super thanks, super chat, or you can send PayPal or buy me a coffee, or what's the other one? I don't even ask, so I keep forgetting this stuff. I don't, what is it? Cash App. That's what it is. That lets you know if I can't even remember this stuff, that lets you know I don't even be thinking about that stuff, just to give truth out. That's what it's about. Listen, Rashid, in closing, what do you have to say to everybody?
Keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. We're entering into a time in history where every up is going to seem like it's down, and down is going to seem like it's up. Don't be surprised at nothing that you see taking place.
This is my guy right here, Rashid. So we're Rashid and Rashid on the Red Pill Diaries. On that note, we go out the same way we always come in, with love in our hearts for those of you who love truth. But remember that our love for you will always pale in comparison to the love that God has for you. Until we next speak again, stay strong, stay true, but above all things, stay righteous. Hey, mama, your baby boy loves you more than life. Deuces, everybody. Thank you. We out of here.